Hello everyone, I'm Renown Zero, and as if the current console generation couldn't possibly get much worse, with the rising prices of Xbox consoles going up to $600 with the Series X, $380 for the Series S, the PlayStation 5 going up to $550, the digital version of the PlayStation 5 going up to $500, and the PlayStation 5 Pro going up to $750, as well as the Nintendo Switch going up in price to $350 for the original Switch, $230 for the Switch Lite, and $380 or $400, I believe, for the Switch OLED. It appears now that the PS5 Digital Edition, the one that does not come with the disc drive, so that you no longer have access to physical games, because eventually we will be in that all digital future, is now reportedly going to be getting a quiet storage downgrade. That is right. With your games being so large and terribly optimized and unable to have great compression so that they, take up less space when you install them on your consoles, now they're going to be reportedly giving you a smaller storage capacity with your digital console while keeping it the same price. This comes to us, of course, from Video Games Chronicle. PS5 Digital Edition consoles are reportedly getting a quiet storage downgrade. Now, of course, if you already own a PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, you are absolutely safe. Later on, when they create more consoles, they're going to essentially lower the space available, because even when you buy a terabyte of storage, you do not get a full terabyte of storage. You get 825 gigabytes, I believe, after all the system settings are installed on your PlayStation 5. So it says new digital edition consoles will reportedly come with nearly 200 gigabytes less storage starting this month. And it's crazy to me how now it seems getting a console on day one is more beneficial than getting a console later down the line when you decide you finally want to pick one up. And this is why PC gaming is going to be essentially on the rise, and it's going to be much better for gamers overall, as it has already been for many, many years. Sony is reportedly planning to downgrade the storage included in the new digital edition PlayStation 5 consoles in Europe, and of course, you already know it'll eventually trickle over to the US, the UK, and other countries, so on and so on. Starting this month, the digital edition of the PS5, which doesn't include a disc drive, at $500 now, will come with 825 gigabytes of SSD storage, down from the 1 terabyte included with the current PS5 consoles, according to the ever-reliable Bill Kuhn. The revised 825 gigabyte PS5 digital edition will reportedly go on sale in Europe starting on September 13th. Crucially, it will cost the same price as the current 1 terabyte edition, a digital edition console in Europe, €499. According to Bill Kuhn, the standard edition PlayStation 5 console will retain its 1 terabyte of SSD storage for the time being. I would not be shocked at all if the standard edition with the disk drive goes down in SSD storage as well, which is crazy because nowadays SSD storage is actually much, much cheaper than it's ever been. And it's so simple to update the storage on the PlayStation 5. It's likely that the storage reduction is a means of avoiding further price increases for PlayStation 5 in the current challenging trading climate. Now, it was first the quote-unquote market conditions or variable pricing. Now it's the challenging trading climate. Yeah, just come up with more excuses to fuck over the customer. Once again, Sony PlayStation, this is why you guys have been absolute garbage since the PlayStation 3, and you've been going downhill ever since. PC gaming seems to be the way nowadays for anyone who's really serious about gaming, considering that PlayStation is now losing all of their exclusives, and Xbox has lost all of their exclusives already, as well as having the ability to emulate old Nintendo games and even the current Nintendo Switch game library. So that will be the way to go, in my opinion. In Europe, the digital edition console has seen its price increase twice, most recently earlier this year. PlayStation 5 Digital Edition currently costs €100 more than it did at launch 5 years ago, which is crazy to me because the parts inside the system are much cheaper to make. Regardless of whatever some idiot on the internet will believe, the consoles should have been gone down in price because the parts are cheaper to manufacture. Sony also increased the price of PS5 consoles in the US recently. However, there's yet no suggestion that the console will receive a storage reduction outside of Europe, according to Bilboku. But of course, that's not how it always works. Sony has to reflect everything the same way in every single country, so you know eventually the PlayStation 5 digital editions will eventually, in my opinion, get this storage reduction as well, and of course keep its current price of $500 because of course Sony and PlayStation are absolute garbage companies, and they're always going to be garbage companies, even though PlayStation as a brand is the only thing keeping Sony alive, as all their other products have kept them in the red for so long, and the only thing that's kept them in the black is of course their PlayStation brand. The PlayStation 5 is the latest piece of consumer tech to be impacted by global economic issues, allegedly. Sony previously increased the price of PlayStation 5 in select regions in August of 2022, with both the digital and standard editions getting hikes in the UK, Europe, Australia, Japan, China, Mexico, and Canada, but not the United States. Then in 2025, it again raised prices in multiple regions, including the United States, with raising the regular price of the PlayStation 5 from $500 to $550, the digital edition to $500 from $450, and the PlayStation 5 or the Gay Station 5 Pro, the scam box of the year, from $700 to $750, not accounting for the disc drive and the vertical stand that you have to buy separately, which will run it up to probably about $900 by the time you're done. So at that point, you might as well just, I don't know, buy a PC. Last month, Nintendo raised the price of its original Nintendo Switch hardware, with the standard units increasing in the cost by $40, the OLED model by $50, and the Switch Lite by $30. Again, 8-year-old hardware going up in price for each model of the Nintendo Switch 1, even after they told you, if you can't afford a Nintendo Switch 2, buy a Nintendo Switch. So the OLED being $400, basically like, oh well, just put in another $50 and just get yourself the Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo has been assessing quote-unquote market conditions for some time now, most notably with regard to U.S. President Donald Trump's ongoing trade tariff decisions. Because again, somehow old parts are suddenly affected by tariffs. Because you know that if the tariffs go away, the price is not going to get reduced, because they know people like Nintendo, companies like Nintendo and PlayStation and Microsoft included, know that even when the tariffs go away, idiots will still end up buying the consoles anyway, because we have people that are loyal people who are pay pigs who will continue to buy any and everything that these companies put out. So let that be a lesson that regardless of what happens, the prices of these consoles will not decrease in price, regardless of what happens in the economic world and in the global markets or a change in market conditions. And it's absolutely disgusting that Sony and PlayStation are now going to once again fuck over their user base for a couple of extra dollars and give you less product. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you all for checking out this video. Subscribe for more content. Comment below if you all this. Like the video if you liked it. Smash the bell for notifications. Set it to all. That way you'll get a notification anytime I post a video, go live on the channel. See you guys in the next one. Peace.